In our culture, there's a lot of skepticism and criticism about leaders, and I can sympathize with that. There are too many self-serving leaders who mistreat others. I grieve over the pain that some church leaders have caused and are causing. So when I speak about honoring pastoral leaders, I can understand why some may bristle at this idea. But we must allow the Bible to shape us on this matter, as with every other matter in the church. The New Testament speaks often about false teachers and corrupt leaders and calls us to watch out for them and avoid them. But it also speaks about faithful leaders and tells us to respect and follow them. To be sure, no pastor is perfect. They will all have bad days and make mistakes. But a faithful leader is one of whom it is true that the overall pursuit and pattern of their life is faithfulness. In 1 Peter 5, Peter outlines three things we should expect from church leaders. This includes unpaid elders as well, anyone who has a responsibility for spiritual oversight in the church. First, he speaks about the pastor's task. Pastors are shepherds. Their job is to tend to the sheep through careful and skillful shepherding and oversight. They know the sheep, lead the sheep, protect the sheep, and feed the sheep. That is their task. Second, the pastor's heart. They are to serve not out of compulsion, but willingly. They are to serve not for shameful gain, but eagerly, motivated by the sheer love of the work. They are to set a humble example. Humility is so important because the desire for power and control is what leads to toxic church environments. Third, the pastor's reward. When the chief shepherd appears, Peter says, "You will receive the unfading crown of glory." Jesus is the real senior pastor. Shepherds are also sheep. They depend upon the saving grace of Jesus Christ no less than any other church member. They too are looking for the glorious coming of Jesus and the unfading crown of glory that will be awarded to those who serve faithfully. So one of the things you can do to honor your pastors is to help them keep this vision in their minds as they labor. Help them keep the wonder of our glorious hope. Sermon preparation is exhausting, lonely, and often unrewarding. Pastoral care is often unnoticed and draining, but the chief shepherd sees such faithful work and he will reward it. Assuming that your church's leaders are pursuing this kind of leadership, as a church member, you have obligations to them. You are to humbly submit to their leadership. Now, this doesn't mean that your elders are always right or that they will always do things well and are therefore beyond correction. Humility before leaders does not mean you can never question what they do, but it does mean that when you do need to have these conversations about an issue, it's carried out with humility, it's carried out biblically, not haughtily or hatefully. You'll spend more time now with one another discussing 1 Peter 5 and thinking about how to honor leaders in your context. Let me leave you with this thought. When we treat our leaders with respect and honor, when we love them with deep affection, when we follow their example and sit under their teaching, when we pray for them diligently and seek to encourage them, we will be a joy to pastor. And that will not only bless them, it will bless us as well. Why don't you take some time before you begin this session and pray together?